afternoon, good evening, good morning, whenever you're watching this. I'm Deborah Roth from Spirited Living, and thrilled to be back here yet again to share with you my latest discoverings, my delightful discoverings of the Divine Feminine. It's funny, that's the beginning of my seasonal playbook that I always offer for free in the winter months. The Authentic Woman Playbook, Delightful Discoverings of Your Divine Feminine. See, I love the Divine Feminine. So, I also this afternoon created a video that just sort of gives a little bit more of an overview of what I mean when I talk about the Divine Feminine and your inner goddess team. And I'll make that available as I figure that all out. So, what I do here each week is to introduce you or reacquaint you with different aspects, different archetypes of the Divine Feminine as represented through goddesses from all over the world, every culture, every religion. And when I speak of the Divine Feminine, it is not a gender-specific thing. It is definitely something that we carry, and all those qualities, not something, many things that we carry within us, just as we carry divinely masculine qualities of being strategic and being focused and linear and logical. We need both sides. We need the soft, intuitive, compassionate side. That's a certain kind of power. And then the divine masculine carries a certain kind of power as well. And when we look at this week's goddess, this week's image of the Divine Feminine, I have to give full credit to my granddaughter, my wonderful granddaughter Kira. She's going to be 5 the end of January, who asked me last week. I'd given her a book about how to be a warrior goddess, a kid's book, and it shows this little girl defending her friends and doing all these, these really positive, wonderful things to support her friends. Oh my gosh, hi AJ, woo, what fun. And so we were sitting at their house, and she said, Grammy, would you get me, will you find out something for me about winter goddesses? And I said, and I didn't know where she was getting that, and I was, of course, thrilled. And I said, what made you think of that? And she ran and got this warrior goddess little book that I'd given her a couple months ago. So that really got me exploring what are the winter goddesses? Who are the winter goddesses? And of course, once again, we find them in every culture. The one that really spoke to me is, and it's part of my heritage, is the Gaelic goddess Kalyak. And I've heard the pronunciation different. It can be Kalyak, it can be Callieach. In the spelling, you'll just have to look in the description because it's a tricky spelling. And she is a Gaelic, which covers some portions of France, but Irish, Scottish goddess of creation. And she was dubbed in both Scotland and Ireland as the Queen of Winter. She was honored in so many different ways. She was honored as a divine hag. Now that word hag I've actually written about is actually a very powerful word. It's been demonized. It's been, as all the crone goddesses, as all the Wise-woman Crone goddesses have been, hags, crones, all of those representations have been made to be something bad or evil or old and ugly and helpless, when the reality is it's really the time when women are in their wisdom. And hag, both hag and crone, the etymology of their words has to do with time, chronology, and hag, which is a threshold among other things. So she's considered, Callieach is considered a divine hag, a creatrix, which often these Wise-woman Crone goddesses are. They're goddesses of death and rebirth and transformation, and an ancestral deity that moves us to connect with our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, etc. So, given my relationship with Kira, also, that certainly appealed to me. And she actually shares dominion of the seasons with Bridget, or Brigid is another name that she's known. And excuse me, and Kalyak comes into power around Samhain or Halloween, and she carries us through the winter months until May Day, which is when Brigid comes to life. And in fact, one of the myths, one of the stories about Callieach, and you can find places all over Scotland and Ireland, particularly Scotland, I think, that carry her name and that carry her folklore and her stories. And there is a glen named after her in Scotland, and it's where the legend goes that she stayed in this glen with her husband and children, and the townspeople offered up shelter for her. And when she left, she said to them, and in this glen, apparently, they still honor this, in this glen, and there's a hut, and in the hut are many carved stones. And when Callieach, the story goes, when Callieach and her husband and children left, she gifted the stones to the people and asked them to bring them outside during the summer months, and from the time when she goes to sleep and Brigid wakes up and takes care of us through the summer months, and then to bring them back inside to keep them warm during the winter months when Callieach comes back into power after Halloween. And apparently it's a ritual that's still honored today, which is kind of cool. There's another place where that's on some strait in Scotland that talks about the whirlpool. It's one of the three most dangerous whirlpools in the world, and in that spot, it's said that Callieach goes to wash her tartan, which is is that her tartan? She washes the not her skirt. What did they call the tartan? It's not the tartan. The blanket that they wear around them. She washes them in this whirlpool because, of course, she can handle it because she's Callieach, and it comes out after she washes it. As winter approaches, it comes out white, and that's how she blankets the land in snow. So I always love these stories, and it is the tartan cloth. Okay, I don't know why I always because the kilt is the skirt. So those are two of her stories, and a little bit. There are many others about her. I think I don't really talk much about the four faces of the divine feminine here: Maiden Mother, Amazon Queen, and Wise-woman Crone. And certainly haven't highlighted very often. I'm not quite sure why. The Wise-woman Crone archetype, when that's actually where I'm at, given my age, given where I am in the cycle of my life, and what it represents, and if part of what I love doing here is offering you an opportunity to claim and reclaim the divine feminine within you, is also to reclaim some of the language that has been foisted on us, that the fact that our bodies are dirty and evil. Not doing that anymore. And words like crone, which you picture this. Actually, I love this picture of Callieach that I found. So this is the picture of Callieach. And what was a little irritating is that some of the pictures that I found of her were these sweet young things. She's not. You can see her. She's a grandmother. And she's very friendly looking in this one. Sometimes the crone goddesses are not so friendly looking because they are about death and rebirth. They are about transformation. And the crone time is the winter time. It's the time when animals, very much in the outer world, when animals hibernate, when we tend to go inward. And from a kind of a psycho-emotional standpoint, this is the time to hibernate. And so many people are really put off by winter and are just don't want winter to come, because the fact that this is the time when the nights are the longest and the days are the shortest, and we don't have the brilliant sunlight that we do in the summer. Instead of fighting those seasonal cycles, the idea, and what the crone reminds us, the idea is that we just treasure this as a time to go within, to just settle down and to do some journaling. I'm actually going to read during the day. Usually I just read before I go to sleep. To do things that nurture our body and soul. To do some exploration around, what's the shadow side of us? What are things that we want to release and let go to create room, especially as we get to the end of the year, or any cycle that you're in, so that we can make room for what is new, what's coming up. So all that information, kind of left brain information about her, and I will leave you with one of my favorite crone chants that is just very sweet. So I invite you to sing this over the next day or so, and just invite Callieach into your life, so that you too can there you are, so you can tap into your inner wisdom. She carries, I forgot to mention, she carries a staff that when she bangs it on the ground, turns everything to snow. And she also, in this picture, she's also actually got a hammer, and that's how she's created all the hills and the mountains in the wintertime. So this is in honor of the crone that lives within each of you, the wise woman that lives within every one of us, and in honor of Kalyak. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your wisdom. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your wisdom. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Welcome Kalyak and her wisdom into your being. Tap into your own wisdom there as well. Let me know how it goes. Give me some comments. Subscribe if you haven't already on my YouTube channel where this will go next. And have a blessed end of 2021, as crazy as it's been. And just flow gently into the new year. And I'll see you next week. Namaste.